Hi everybody, and welcome to our altered book, Mr. Green, our September daily. We're working through this list of prompts, choosing one daily to go into our altered book, Mr. Green. And this is the 7th of September, so actually we've been doing this for a week now, which seems unlikely, but that's the way it is. So I roll every day, at the end of every day, to see which of these 6 chosen designers I get to work with the next day. And yesterday I rolled Liana Scrap, that's her shop on Etsy, and I didn't know what to choose for a prompt. But in the end I opted for book pages. So let me just put a line around there, and this is the 7th. So as we go on, it gets more and more difficult because all the good prompts have gone, as it were. But anyway, so I'm working with Liana Scrap and book pages. Right, let's just have a little look where we are. Don't need to show you all of it. I'm sure you've watched me do it. This was yesterday's, which is a bit of froth and frou-frou, but the prompt was lace, and I love it. And I showed you how to crackle paper, which is amazing. I'm still amazed by that. I love it, I really do. So that brings us on to today. Now then, the kit that I have chosen from Liana Scraps is called, I can't remember it, Autumn. I'll look it up. It'll be in the comments below. It's called Autumn something, and the pages are so rich and gorgeous. I really, really like them. They just spoke to me, and it's unusual for me because I don't usually do autumn. It's not kind of my favourite season. I tend not to like the colours, but I love these purples on here. So as a consequence, I chose to select purple card to use, and I've cut out my background piece, and then I've cut out this piece just to go inside it as a sort of matten layer type thing, so you can still see the purple border around it. So that's going to go on there like that. So let's get that stuck on first off. I'm not going to ink around here, because it's quite clearly defined where this page ends, where the purple begins, so I don't need to define that anymore. I just need to glue it down. As you can see, I'm just using a piece of paper that I printed out Artie Maze on, and the printer went bonkers for some reason. So I've just used the other side of that. Waste not, want not, as they say. You may have noticed, some of the people on the Facebook group, that I have changed the name of the Facebook group, and I've gone back to what it was originally because I could never actually remember what I'd changed it to. So we are now Miss Paint-A-Lot's Junk Journal group, and it sounds much better, it feels much better. It's how we started off, and yeah, I'm glad we've gone back to it. So for any new people watching, if you want to pop over and join the Facebook group, you'd be most welcome. There's 3 questions to answer. Please answer them. And then you're in, and you can see at the moment everybody is sharing absolutely beautiful work as they work through the September daily as well. Just got a bit of glue there. It must have been on my fingers. I'll just rub that off. It won't be seen ultimately, but I like to think it's not there. Right, so that's that. Now, today's an easy page, there's no doubt about it, it's easy. But I'm going to show you how to do something that's really useful. Well, I think it's really useful. It's gusseted pockets, gusseted corner pockets. So what you need to do is get your ruler out, or whatever measuring device you have, and this measures 8.5. The purple measures 8.5. I want to put a corner pocket on each side, and I don't want them touching in the middle. So if I were to make my pockets 3.5, that would come to there, and 1, 2, 3.5 to there. Yeah, I think that's fine. I think 3.5 is going to be a good width for our pockets. Now then, because they're gusseted, we need to add extra to them. So just take it from me at the moment. You'll see why ultimately, but just take it from me at the moment that this is what you've got to do. We want them to be 3.5 in width. Then we need to add on an 1/8. Then we need to add on a 1/2. So let's just do this on a bit of paper so you all know what I'm doing. Our pocket's going to be 3.5 inches wide, plus an 1/8, plus 1/2. So 3.5 plus a 1/2 is 4, plus the 1/8 is 4 and an 1/8. So that's what we're going to measure our width out to be. So let's cut 2 pieces of paper, of this card. Excuse me, I've got a real frog in my throat. Back to the rum and coke, works a treat every time. So let's cut this out at 4 and an 1/8. Just going to sit. This was the one that I mocked up, so you can see what we're doing. We're making a little corner pocket, but it's got this gusset on it all the way around, which then means you can put something thicker in without distorting your pocket. And I'm just going to check what measurement this is because it worked rather well. It's actually, what is that? It is 4.5. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to make that measurement 4.5. And you can do that. You absolutely can. So let's cut one at 4.5. But we want one for each corner, and then I'll show you what we're going to do to make that gusset. Yeah, my table's back to being a mess. Didn't last long being tidy. So I want 2 of those pieces because I want one for each corner. So it's 4.5. I'm just cutting at the moment just the width of the paper. It's just easier. You could go around and save some card. So the next thing that I want to do is, here's my backing, my base page. I want to work out how high I want it. So that's how high I've decided I want it, like that. So it's a couple of inches in from the top. It's got a little bit of glue there that I don't want. I'll get my glue rubber out of it later. Yeah, so the measurement that I want to go is a couple of inches in from the top. And this entire piece now measures it's actually 5 and an 1/8. It's just a weird measurement. It's 5 and an 1/8. So I'm going to cut this off at 5 and an 1/8. We've got the resident fly back again. I'm sure he waits for me to do a video and then decides to start flying around like an idiot. So that's 5 and an 1/8 there. Cut that off. These are good remnants. I hear people referring to them as scraps. I find that quite offensive on their behalf because they're remnants. If you did that with fabric, it would be a remnant. And just because it's paper, we shouldn't call them scraps. They'll get complexes. Right, okay, here we go. So I've got my 2 pieces that are the size that I want, plus 1/8 for that spine there, plus 1/2 for the actual gussety part. Okay, so this little spine here is 1/8 of an inch, and this here is 1/2 an inch, and it's the same on the bottom. This is 1/8 and this is 1/2, and then if you fold those in like that, that will give you what you're going to be your finished size. Okay. So let's get the scoreboard out. If you don't have a scoreboard, use your ruler and a knife, a blunt knife preferably, otherwise you'll just go through your paper and then you'll be sad. So this is the 4.5 inch side. So what I'm going to do is score at 1/2 inch. So I'm going to score straight down there at 1/2 inch. Then I'm going to come in one little score mark, which is 1/8 inch, and score down there. I'll move this down a bit, you might see a bit better. So I've scored at 1/2 inch where it says 1/2 inch, and then I've just moved my pointer along one notch, and that's 1/8 inch. Okay, so that's that, and then I need to do the bottom as well. So score at 1/2, like that, then come in one notch and score again, and that'll give us the gusset. And I know it sounds like a right for daddle, but it's a useful thing to know. So there we have it, we have that side pocket. So let's do this one, and remember we want a pair. So I mean this is fine because it's the same on both sides, but if you're using pattern paper, remember you want a pair. So you want it on this side of one and this side of the other. So I'm going to score again at 1/2 inch, and then come in one little doodah, score again, and that's your 1/8 inch. Turn it round. Let me just check. Yeah, turn it round, score at 1/2 inch. Move your pointer along one notch and score there, and that will give you 1/8 inch. So there we have it. There's our two pockets in the making. So the next thing we need to do before we start folding and creasing and all that, we just need to get the scissors and cut out on the inside mark right across, so the bigger square that you can see there. So I'm cutting along here to the other score line, and I'm cutting up here till I meet that one. Like that. So I've cut that corner out completely up to the innermost score line, and I'm going to do the same with this one. Just cut up the inside one and this one as well till they meet up, and you're left with a little square that's no use to anybody, I don't think. Right, so now it's down to scoring them. So score it on the inside one. Where's my bony folder? Score it on the inside one like that, and then just push it back. Just push it back on itself, and the other score line will. Oh, here's DHL, DHL, DHL. No courier service here. I've just got a little bit of DHL, Mr. F. So that's that, and they will fold over like that and form you a cracking little corner, just perfect. the other thing to do is just to cut off these angles, because you can see them and they're not nice. So let's just cut that off there, just to the outer one, and this one here from the outer one out like that. So there you have it. There is your little mitered. I mean, if you're used to making boxes and things like that, boxed envelopes, that sort of thing, then this is a doddle to you. But most junk journalists don't make boxes, so that's that one. So this one, same, fold along the inner one first. I just find it easier. Like that. And then push that back, and it will fold automatically on the other crease line. So crease that down there. And this goes like that. And then just push it back, and you will get that crease line along there. Just cut off the little corners, miter the little corners there. And this one, lovely. And there we should have a nice little box again. And you can see we've got that spine all the way around. I'll call it a spine, it's not really, it's a gusset. That we can get something a bit thicker into the pockets without distorting them. Because if you just stick a bit of paper onto a bit of paper, there is no room for anything. I'm gesticulating here with my hands widely, as if you could see, which I know you can't. But, so that's it. We've got our two pockets. They're a matching pair. Hippity-hee. So, I just want to angle this corner because they look quite nice when they're angled. So let's just flatten them out like that. They will. Uh-oh, here comes the claw in the cart. Right over all my fussy cuts and everything. Oh my goodness. What's in the cart today? Who? Uncle Joe's mint balls. I have a desire to say meatballs, but they're not. They're Uncle Joe's mint balls, made in Wigan, handmade. Keep you all aglow. That's what must be surrounding Mr. F this morning.
I'm all aglow.
Oh, right, get off my table. Thank you. Goodbye, Claw. Right, that idiot's gone. And the claw. Oh dear, sorry about that. Right, so I want to angle this corner in. It just looks nicer. So I've already done this template, but I'll tell you what it measures where I've cut. I have cut in 2 inches along there, and two inches down there. So let's just repeat that process and we'll get that cut off. I don't know why I put that away. I want it. Just get the little one out. So I'm just going to measure in 2 inches. That's what the template said, and it seems to work quite well. So 2 inches along there, that's my mark. 2 inches down here, that's my mark. And I'm just going to join those two up with my ruler, like that, and just cut that off. Lovely. So now you can see that we have our gusseted pocket, and it's got this lovely angle on it that just makes it look just that little bit nicer, I think. A bit more finished, doesn't it? So same malarkey here, 2 inches. 2 inches. Join the pencil marks together with your ruler and cut that off. So there we go. We've got some pencil marks here, but a rubber will easily get rid of them, or an eraser I should say. think rubber might be rude. There we go. So we're all set to go. Right then. So what I'm going to do before I stick these in is I'm going to decorate them. Not much, not massively decorate them. Let's just have a clue what's going on here. They're going to go like that. I think they're going to look nice. So my prompt is book page, which has not figured anywhere. So I thought that I would cover these with book page, and I'm just going to bring it in from the edge so you can still see that lovely purple border around it. And this one. So that's going to get stuck down there. I don't know whether I'm going to ink it or not. Possibly not, I don't think, because you can see it. It's clearly defined. And then I've taken a page of the kit which had these gorgeous images on, and I'm going to pop them onto there. This one is a bit awkward. There's only one way that it fits, and I can't remember which way that is. Yeah, like that. So they're not the same, and they don't have to be the same. They look beautiful, don't they? It is an absolutely stunning kit. I really, really like it. So the first thing to do then is to stick the paper down. I might use art glitter for this. This paper is incredibly fragile, and I think the collal might do for it, to be honest. So you could use glue stick if you're very sure of your glue stick. You could sew around it as well. That would look nice. I haven't really done any sewing in this book yet. Well, I'm sure I will. And art glitter is quite a dry glue. I mean, it's wet, you know. It comes out of a nozzle. It's wet, but it's not sloppy. I don't want sloppy glues. Thank you very much. Right, so let's take that over there. See if I can get this lined up nicely. I'm filming this just before lunchtime, and lunch today is salad. We had salad yesterday for lunch, but that's not a hardship. We like salad. Right, so that's down there. And I'm going to put my fussy cut on as well. So I hope you will enjoy learning how to make this gusseted corner pocket. It opens up, you know, you can put thicker things in there, which I like the idea of. There we go, that should be alright, I think. I'm just going to put this level with the bottom of the book page. Like that. That's lovely. It's so pretty. It's quite dramatic, actually. It's quite a dramatic kit, I think. It just hasn't got any glue under it there. Don't know why. Yeah. Mr. F, could you just have a look what this is called, this kit, please? It's autumn something. But I can't remember what. Thank you. Is that stuck down? Yeah, well, maybe a little bit. With this very fine nib you can get underneath. So we'll make sure that that's all stuck down nicely. Yeah, that's lovely. That's going to go there. And then we'll do the other one. Also, really, I love fussy cuts and decoupage on top of book pages anyway. It's one of my favourite things. Music, paper, book pages, whatever. I like painting on them as well, but I definitely couldn't paint on this one. The paper is way too fragile. And it's not a particularly old book. I mean, it might be 60s, 70s, something like that. Which I suppose now is knocking on a bit, really, isn't it? So, same with that, just give it a bit of a border all the way around. Lovely. And then we'll attach this fussy cut. Now let me just work out which way it goes first. Yeah, that way. So those are pointing that way. Try and remember. Try and remember which way. because with art glitter you don't get too many second chances. It's called Autumn something.
You know what else is like.
Indeed.
Autumn comfort?
Is it?
No? Or soft autumn?
No, maybe Autumn Comfort if it looks like this. I'll just have a quick look. No, this is quite purpley, isn't it? So it goes that way. Like that. Yay, fits in beautifully. That's lovely. I don't think I had that much space with this one, but that's beautiful. Let's just have a look then and see what it is. This one here, this Autumn Documents one. It's beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. Look at that. Look at that. Beautiful. Autumn Documents by Liana Scraps. Gorgeous, gorgeous kit. It must be to persuade me to like autumn, because I don't, as a general rule. But this is quite purpley and it's got these...
Not scraps.
Yeah, Liana Scraps, sorry. But the link will be underneath anyway. So you'll find her. I'm sure you'll find her. We're not strangers to Liana Scrap. She has been a good friend to the channel. Right, so that's going there. Now, you have a choice to make. You can stick that onto the top of here, or you can stick it around the back, like that, which I think is neater, but it does actually use up some of the gusset, so you won't have as much space. So that's a decision only you can make, how much space you want. So I'm going to stick this onto here, onto the back, which is why I didn't stick my base page down at the beginning. So I'm just going to do just that flap, not the additional 1/8, because that's your gusset, just the 1/2 inch flap. And I'm just going to stick that on at the bottom, right up that bendy bit there, like that. Marvellous. And then the same thing here. Just check, check, check. Yeah, that's perfect. So more on this piece here. And fold that over. Just check that it's just the gussety bit that you're gluing down, not that additional 1/8 of an inch. Like that, that's fine. That's perfect. Perfect. So that gives us that nice spine all the way along. Actually, that's... Come up. You need to be further along. I need that to be right on the corner there. And it just wasn't. So fortunately the art glitter hadn't set like concrete. So yeah, I want this right on that corner. Like that. That's it. That's better. That is better. Lovely. Press that down. Okay, so this now should, yeah, that's nice and square and straight. I've got a nice gusset going on here. You can't beat a nice gusset, girls. Or boys, I guess. So same here. I'm just going to stick this on. This is the longest side, so that's the side that goes up and down from the top to the bottom. There we are. So yeah, Just make sure you line your score mark, the score line, up with that, fold it over, then press it down, like that. And then this one, when you come to press it down, make sure that you've pushed that gusset down flat and that you're attaching this square. It's easy to pull it too much and you won't have a gusset left. So just the flap, you're gluing just the flap. Right, so I want to just push that along so it's square, absolutely square in the corner and on those first gusset lines, like that. And there we have it. Oh yes. So it's a bit of a fiddle. I am aware of that. It is a bit of a fiddle, but it's kind of worth it because you get something that you wouldn't get really any other way. You can, if you want to, just glue everything, you know, you gusset together and then glue it onto there. It's probably easier actually. I probably should have done that because it's easier to show you. But I kind of like this because it's neat and tidy. There's nothing inside there that's going to catch on anything at all. Right, so what I've done is I've gone ahead and made a little booklet. And I'll show you for the purposes of those people who are new to the group, and I know everybody else is sick to the back teeth of watching me make notebooks because I seem to be making them every other day. But this is a page out of the kit. It's gorgeous. I've just shrunk it down to be a size that I want it to be. I am going to ink around the edges in purple, just so it stands out against the background. Not massively, I'm not going to town with it, just want a little bit of purple there. There we go. Now then, in the inside, because I haven't printed on the inside as well, let's just check it's the right way up. There's some writing on there, so this is the top. I'm just going to put a stencil. And I'm just going to use one of those cake stencils that I got from Ali the other day. Cheap as chips, but they do the job. So I'm just going to come in a little bit from the edge and choose a section absolutely arbitrarily. Get some ink on my little brush, blending brush. And just get some ink down on that. I'm using Distress Ink Dusty Concord, and it's been running out of ink for about at least 2 months now, and I still haven't replaced it. It seems such a waste of money buying ink because they're like not exciting, are they? You know, I've already got one, I'm just replacing one, so it never seems very exciting to buy ink. But really, it's on its last gasp. So there we are, we've got that. I mean, it's so pretty, isn't it? So when you open the book, that's what you'll see. You can, if you want to, as I say, double print, you know, put it through your printer a couple of times. I just want a piece that's slightly different to that piece. I'll go with this one. Or you could leave it blank, of course you could. Or you could use tea stain paper and line it. There's lots of things you could do. I'm just opting for this because I like the effect, actually. It's something I do quite often. As those of you that watch me regularly will know. Oops. Moving it around. That's not good when you're stenciling. If you're not confident stenciling, tape it down would be my advice. But I've done so many stencils, I get a bit free and easy with it actually. That's not quite right there, I don't think. I think that bit probably hasn't popped out when they've cut it. 99p and it doesn't work right. Anyway, that's perfectly fine. So I'm just, now I've got this, I'm just going to take my ink and my brush and I'm just going to come in from the edge lightly. I don't want it too dark. Just a nice little colour blend there on the outside. We've got lots of new members in our Facebook group, Miss Painterlot's Junk Journal group. Loads of people joining, and a lot of them are absolutely new starters. So, like I say, after I've finished this series, which will of course be the last day of September, unless I get delayed, of course, I hadn't thought of that. I might get delayed and not finish Mr. Green within September, but I can't see that. So after I've finished that, I will be doing a Back to Basics series, which really will be back to basics in order to try and help all the people that are new starters, try and, you know, not do things like this, but do easy things that would be helpful for them to know. So I'm just going to fold this over in half, make my little notebook, like that. And I've already cut out some paper. Just, doesn't that look so pretty? Just a little bit less in width and a little bit less that way as well. So they'll all fit in nicely. So I'm just going to fold all these in half. I think there's 4 sheets in total. So that gives a nice little notebook, I think. And I don't know how many sides that is, but it's going to add up to quite a few sides in the end. For those of you with the mathematical bent, I'm sure you can work it out. And if you do, leave a comment. Actually, talking of leaving a comment, please, if you feel that you can, I'd really appreciate it if you left a comment. It makes YouTube see us differently for some reason. I don't understand YouTube. I do videos. I don't understand all the ins and outs of YouTube. But if people give it a thumbs up and comment, it makes us more visible in YouTube land. So if you could see a way to do that, that would be great. And of course, if you haven't already subscribed, please do so. Please, please. Right, so I'm just going to line this up because the paper steps out when you fold it. It always does. It's not just me. It's not just you. It always does it. So line your ruler up with the outer one, and then we'll just cut down here, and that will get rid of all those little bits that stick out. That happens when you make journals as well. It's nothing you're doing wrong. It's just the way it is. Right, so let's get yourself a protective mat, or I use this old yoga mat that we got at charity shop. Does the job perfectly well. So I'm just going to take a couple of clips and clip that in centrally. Make sure it's pushed right into the V. All the papers are right together there. Clip that on there. Same thing, make sure everything's pushed in. Clip that on there. Right, so I need to make some holes. Now you can measure this if you want to, entirely up to you. I'm just doing it by eye, and I think that's possibly halfway. So I've put the point of my thing in there. I'm just going to fold the papers back and push out. And you see that point coming through right on the apex, which is what you want. There we are. So I've made 3 holes. One in the middle, one nearer the top, one nearer the bottom. And I'm just going to take some thread. This could be embroidery floss, it could be jute twine, could be anything that you actually can think of. Just take your needle, push it out through the central one. Either hold on to this or just clip it under that clip that you've got there. Just otherwise it'll come out and you'll be all annoyed with yourself. So back in through that bottom hole, and it'll come out into the middle, up to the top through that top hole, like that, and then back in through your central hole. Like so. Okay. Now you want these 2 loose ends to be on either side of the long stitch, so I'm just going to put that under. So I've got one on each side of the long stitch, and then you need to pull it. So pull it like that and see if that feels tight. Yeah, that feels all right. And then just tie yourself a knot over that long stitch. There we are. So I'm just going to put 2 knots in like that, and then just cut my ends off. You can leave them as long as you want. You can have them coming out of the notebook and put beads on them. That looks very nice. There's all sorts of ways to finish that section off, but that's the quick and easy route, and it works really rather well. So I'm just gonna doll this up. Actually, that's the front. Yeah, that's the front. So I've got my 2 little journals here, and I'm tempted to say tart them up, but that's probably not right. So what I've got is I've torn out 2 pieces of the book page that we were using. I thought they could go there like that and it'd look rather nice. I have got some label-y sort of things. Well, I mean, they are labels. Somewhere I have a whole sheet of labels that say notes. Do you think I can find them? Can I fly? So I'm going to put that on there. I've got some crinkled seam binding, which I put double-sided on the back of, and I'm just going to cut a bit off that. Then I'm going to put my label like that, and then I'm going to put a butterfly. At least I think I am. That's kind of the... Yeah, I think that'll look all right. Do I need that? I hate when you're trying things down and they just won't stay where you put them. It's annoying. I don't know if I need that. The other one. Right, I'm going to stick this down first. I don't know whether to ink around it first. Let's just give it a try and see. It's just a tiny little bit of purple on this brush, so it's not going to make it too dark. Just a little bit. A whisper. Yeah, quite like that. Okay, let's stick that down then. Once again, I'm going to use the art glitter because of the fragility. Pop that back there. Lovely. I've got my butterfly. I'm questioning whether I actually need this at all. But I do quite like it. Yeah, I think so, but not very much probably. Not as much as I thought I did. There we are, let's just take the release paper off here. My scalpel is still away. The gnomes have it for sure. I really wish they'd bring it back. So I'm just going to pop that onto there. I quite like that little assemblage. It's a really, really nice day here, and I suspect it's going to be one of the last really nice days that we have. So after I've done this and we've had our lunch, we're going to go for a little jaunt, and I'm really looking forward to that. So that's going to go there like that. And you can put a gem in the middle or not, or whatever you fancy really. So this I'm just going to do again the lightest of little coats around the outside. It's barely perceptible, but it is there. I'll stick this on. This is, I think it's Jane Eyre actually that I'm using. because I reckon there probably wasn't any swear words in it. Because, some books, honestly, get your specs knocked off. There we are. Let's have a look and see what it is. Oh no, it's Pride and Prejudice. Look at that, it's really 60s, 70s, 80s even, isn't it? But the pages are blinking lovely. So that's the book I'm using presently. Right, the next thing is a bit of this. I quite like this one that says do not fill in. It amuses me. But anyway, let's choose a bit of this. The butterfly that I've chosen for this side is this one. So I'm just going to pop, same as the other one. Stop flapping around, just get on with it. That's what I say. Not the butterfly, it can flap around. So let's just pop a bit of this down here. There we go. And then I'm just going to... I have actually been around these butterflies with a little, touchy little bit of vintage photo, just to take the white off from the fussy cuts, that's all. Oh, it's attached to me. Pop that one there. Lovely. Job done. Excellent. So, put the pin in there. So I'm pretty much finished with the art glitter, I think. They look nice actually. I didn't use those labels in the end, but that's okay. So that's our little journal, baby journals that will go in the book. Let me just find Mr. Green under all this. Come on, Mr. Green. Right, so what needs to happen now is that needs to get stuck into there, and then our pockets need to go on it, and Bob's your uncle. So let's just, there we are. I'm just doing that so I can see the edge of Mr. Green, so I know where to stick this. That's quite close to that edge there. Right, okay, let's collall him into place. I see already that my Mr. Green's beginning to get a bit chunky, and we're 1 week in, 3 to go. So by the end of it, he's going to have to have his mouth tight closed, because he's just, there's no way he's going to close, no way. But I don't want to limit myself with things that are put in just to keep him thin. I don't want to put him on a diet. Right, there we are. Let's get this in. Lovely, that's fine. Actually, it could probably do with being a little bit more that way. That's it. And that way. Yeah, that's better. That is better. I managed to get glue everywhere now. Collall is just such a good glue. I keep saying it, but it is. If you're a messy pup like me, it's just brilliant. There we are. Right, that's our page in. Look at those papers, they're just so pretty. And one of our little notebooks can go in there, like that. And this other little notebook can go in there. So there we have it. They're not pushing the pocket out of where it should be. There's plenty room for them to go into there, plenty. You probably even get something else in there, or make thicker notebooks or whatever. But that's that. I hope you enjoyed learning how to do that, and that it wasn't that I explained it properly. I always worry that I haven't explained things very well. But I hope that it was clear enough for you to understand. You could, of course, go much further to town with these. You could decorate them up and everything. but I really rather like them the way they look. I love these fussy cuts. I love this kit. Look at these. It's a glorious kit. So that be that, apart from, two things. One, I need to date it. So it's the 7th of September 2021. Now if you're doing your own video and you're popping it on YouTube, please can you attach the hashtag September Daily 2021. It's fairly straightforward. Hashtag September Daily 2021, and then I'll get to see, and everybody else will get to see. So that's today's. Let's bring in the prompt list and see what we're going to do tomorrow. Where's my die? Here it is. Right. So it can't be Leona Scrap, because we did her today, and we're not doing it, if you've done her one day, you can't do the next. So let's see what we get today to do tomorrow. Tracy Fox, Artie Mays, or Wildcard. Honestly, this dice, it won't go to TaylorMade Journals and chapter 1. It will eventually. Anyway, so the designer that I'll be using tomorrow is Tracy Fox or Artie Mays, or I can pull an absolute wild card. I could use 12 by 12s, I could use Edith, I could go completely off the rails. Anyway, there we are. I hope you enjoyed it. I quite like the finished thing. I like the fact that we put purple around it. I think it sets it off really nicely. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you have a bash at it. Even if the gusseted corners are a bit daunting for you, just make ordinary pockets. The prompt, can I remind you, is book page. Nothing to do with pockets. So if you want to make your page, nothing like this. Just make sure that you include the book page on it. It could be music paper if that's coming out of a book. And you'll be good to go. So once you've done that, if you would like to post it in our group, which is Miss Paint-A-Lot's Junk Journal group over on Facebook, we would be delighted to see what you've done. It's always lovely to see what people do. And until then, I shall see you tomorrow, where it probably will be alive, I think. Okay, bye for now, guys. Behave yourselves. Bye.